right, so welcome back to the Scholarship Hustle, college recruiting exposed, the show that gives athletes, parents, the game behind the game. Right, I'm Coach Spree, and today we're tapping into the physical and mental blueprint of elite athletes. If you want to unlock your strength to compete at the highest level, this is your episode, right? So I'm joined here today by Strength Mastermind Clance Laylor, founder of LPS Athletic, and a new partner of with Pro 7 Sports in helping young athletes succeed. So let's dive into it, man. So, you've experienced some great athletes, Clance. I mean, let's talk about, what separates an average athlete from an elite athlete.
That's a very good question. So over my years, the the number one thing that separates, and I like how you broke that separation from like, elite is, first you got to be disciplined. That's a given, right? And then you got to be consistent, which is like the partnership with discipline. But what really separates the elite is being consistent but trying to get better at something every day.
Mhm.
And if you really break that down deep, you can get when someone is disciplined, they're consistent, and they get better at something every day, you see that compound because, being consistent, you show up to the workout, you're showing to your gym, you're showing up to the game,
Right.
you're showing up to the practice, whatever, you're showing up. Hey, man, you know, love it, you're showing up. But when you show up and you try to get better, just think about that. And I'm talking about micro progressions, is, extra rep, extra set, extra weight. And that compounds over a time. There you go.
Mhm.
So to me, that's the analysis I've seen. So when we work with athletes, we're always trying to get them better, like
That's good
every
stuff.
single day they're in the gym.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So before we dive too deep into this, tell us a little bit more about you, man. Let's let us know who Clance is.
I'm a passionate strength coach, man. I live with I no one couldn't have told me I wasn't gonna be a pro athlete or an Olympian. I used to run track, had a um, career-ending injury. And, went into a real dark space pace in my life where because I was all in. I didn't have plan B. I didn't know anything. I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about being a strength coach and so on and so forth. So, I was always a hard worker, always disciplined. And then one hot summer day in Indianapolis, that all came tumbling down in 4x100 relay with a little bit of too much showboating, catching the baton in the lead, and hit my thigh right up in the air. And I said, okay, I have enough time to grab the baton and still win, Stop. Boom, boom. It's like the loudest noise I ever heard in my life. It sounded like a
Mhm.
12 gauge shotgun going off in my ear. I was on the hot, track in the sunny day. Just the crowd just went silent, and I'm holding my knee and just in pain, and you just have that feeling like, man, this is bad, really bad. And so be it. A lot of surgeries, trying to rehab, practice knee going out, and hanging out with my friends, knee just pops out. So to this day, um, I still have a bad knee, but I end up squatting like 500 pounds on that bad knee. But my point is that, or what I'm trying to say is that because the pain was so deep and I was so all in, you know, I thank my family and certain people in my life say, Clarence, why didn't you become a coach? I had no, and I just give back. So that's why I'm so passionate. So when my athletes win, I win. When they fail, I fail. And through my journeys, people say, Clarence, you can't take it so personal. No, bro, I do. I do take it personal. So that's why I demand a lot from my athletes. because um, athletes that come in contact with me, they're not just a number. I want them to win, and they
Mhm.
feel that energy. And some that might be too intense for some athletes. I get it, but you- when you work with me, I want you to win. So that means I try to do my best to, as you said, mentally and physically get you ready, get you prepared. And over the years through my journey, you think it's all like, just physical, but man, there's so many levels of mental
Mm.
strength that I never really understood until I got into the game and really understand.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome, man. When I hear you talk, I think about, most of us, and especially when it comes in involves sports. Our calling of what we're called to do is not what we train the hardest at. It almost feels like we stumble upon it. But yet we were training the whole time for our calling because your trials and tribulations of what you've gone through has created, the path of your calling and created it the way it's supposed to be, you know.
Man, it's funny you said that because my mom said, this is what you're meant to do. God gave you the gift to help young men and young women, um, you know, forget about the sports and the accolades, just help humans become sh- better humans, better
Mhm.
people, better contribution to society. So for me, I have athletes that, they pass the bar or they get having tough time struggling with the exam or whatever they're doing. And, I'll get uh, parents say, I don't know what you did to my boy. He's just a different man, responsible, hard working, doing what he's supposed to do. Like, so those are the greatest, like, those are some real, I would say, um, thank yous or that I really didn't really pay attention because all about the result, all about those medals.
Right.
But as you get older, you get to really appreciate that. You make an effect on you. We as coaches, we make an effect on the young people's lives we touch, and that's what happened to me. My coach made an effect on me, and I think we have to, as coaches, take this very seriously. In terms of
Absolutely.
aspiring and bringing up the youth in a certain way.
100% agree. 100% agree. So look, let's talk about LPS athletics. I mean, kind of, how this came about and kind of where you guys are right now.
How it came about was I don't know where to start. It's just working with one we're just working with one athlete at a time, man. Results, baby. I'm about results.
I hear you, man.
No talking, no uh just results. I'm fortunate, some of these I intern with some of the best strength coaches in the world who helped mentored me. And early in this game, I realized, there's a lot of gimmicks, there's a lot of, people who like to talk, but, at the end of the day, how you gonna get, you know, you know, out there, how you gonna build a career is you have to get your athletes results. So I've always been bent on that. That's the foundation. We have a saying, what is not measured does not improve. So
Mm,
that ties into everything. At the end of the day, all the marketing, all the podcasts, all this, all that, when all that strips away, people are gonna, and when the people start digging into you, like, what results have you gotten? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm called a pro maker, because I make pros. I don't usually do well with pros because when they come in as a pro, they got that money already.
yep.
They don't, so I clash with pros because you're gonna work or you're gonna find that door. I don't care who you are, how much money you have, what you got, bro. You gotta go because you're gonna affect my gym, affect the cancer, and
Mhm.
and like so we don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like, but that's I my strength is building that mindset of these young men and women to become pro, to achieve their
Right.
dreams. And there's not, and and they might not be that gifted. And even if you are gifted, you have to work. And I always say, you can be talented all you want, but if talent don't work. That's it.
Ooh.
You got to work, and that's it. Case closed. There's no. I do not negotiate with that, and I'm proud. I know that's hard, for a lot. And I'm just proud that people appreciate that. Because over the time when you have those, you're running a business, you got to pay the bills, and
Right.
you're getting rid of clients that are lazy, that don't show up to training, who don't want to work, and so you get rid. And now when that's how LPS is built, culture, habits, results.
Mm.
I will work with anyone who wants to work. I will work with anyone who shows up. And that's it. We build discipline. And that is a long answer, but that's LPS.
I love it, man. I love it. Sometimes we're not built for everyone, and that's when you know you're doing it right. If you build something that's built for everyone, then you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
That's
I,
just
I,
the way I look at
I
it.
had to learn that, because you know, when you're running a business, you have many hats.
Yeah.
And then when I started to get away from my core and I start to let this slide and let that slide, you start to see it start affects the product, like the athletes, because everything for us is results,
Mhm.
the culture, and then I had to realize, nah, now I'm grateful now that I have people surrounding me to, deal with all the other stuff where when I can just focus on my passion, and I just love working with athletes.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, that leads me into my next question is, what do you see hold that holds most athletes back? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but kind of expound on that. What do you see that's holding most athletes back from achieving their dreams?
Okay, that's a two-pronged question. I come into contact with or maybe a two-pronged answer. I see talented athletes, a lot of talented, gifted athletes that they just, I call it champion's disease.
Mm,
So they get praised so much on part of my language that, I'm trying to say it most politely. Everyone's just
come on
praising.
with it. Come on with it, man.
Everybody's just kissing their ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what happens is not their fault. They're just so used to being praised, so used to being the best that they don't want to make mistakes. And I really see that handicap a lot of athletes. If they don't want to fail, they don't want to look bad in front of the people, the proud or then so they don't want to compete unless they can kind of analyze the situation, I'm going to win. And to
Right.
me, that's a detriment to a lot of these talented athletes that just don't make it. And
Mm,
that happens when they're young in their mind. So that's one of the reasons why in our gym, life is going to be difficult. I don't care how talented you are, I'm going to find a way to make your life difficult because that builds what you say, that mindset,
mm,
that builds that dog, that builds that wolf.
mm.
You know, that's why I have a lot of problems with the most gifted athletes. Like some of my gifted clients, I can't do anything right. I can't make you happy, bro.
I love it. I love it,
Right.
man.
And then on the other side, it's just simple discipline. It's discipline. You're like, step one, s- you know, say what you're gonna do and do what you're gonna say. Commit, discipline, show up to your workouts every day. Take care of your nutrition, take care of your sleep, take care of all those things. So a lot of athletes I see mess up on discipline. And when you see those athletes messing up on discipline, usually what's gonna happen is they mess up on other aspects of their life. And you can usually see these things early, people that you're surrounded with. Who's your company? My dad used to say, show me your company, tell me who you are. You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's like a lot of opportunities get missed by these athletes because they're surrounded by the wrong people,
Mhm.
right? And that don't share their dreams or don't understand their dreams. They want those dreams for you, but they don't understand what it takes for you, the sacrifice,
Right,
the rest, the sleep, all the commitment you have to do. Oh, let's go to this party, let's go to this club, let's go drink. You know what I mean?
right,
So
right.
I hope I answer your question.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into the payoff of it all, and because I'll tell you this. So for me, it's, I coached for 21 years, and I can tell you a ton of great moments I've had in coaching. That those moments that you get a chill down your spine, and I can go on and on. But from starting Pro 7 Sports Recruiting, that new chill down my spine is even more special because, we have kids that we get to tutor on every aspect of becoming just a good human outside of just an athlete, just a good human, and ultimately fulfill their dreams of signing that national letter of intent and
Mm.
being able to see that kid do that and knowing I had something to do with it, just some small part in that. That's that chill that I get down my spine. That's what I live for. That's what I wake up in the mornings loving to do. Outside of my family. But what is that payoff for you and some of the athletes that you've worked with that have achieved high success?
Man, I can see your passion come through too. Like when you just start to light up when you start talking about that. And it's just the same thing, man. I just get chills. I was, there's so many different okay, like accolades, but there's this one kid who just needed a break. His teacher brought him to me and said, "Yo, man, you got to work with this kid." And it was a big change. Uh, you know, um, you know, I worked with this kid since high school, and the area where he came from, it was very, you know, let me just go back. Like I had to adjust this kid, like, basically stop walking with around with your pants down on like hanging over your butt, things like that. So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh
His
yeah,
area, his area wasn't, you know, was a very, bad area in terms
right.
of I will never forget watching this kid walk home after training. And, I heard in the newspaper like three people just got shot the other day. So my heart was like, just please God, let this kid, let him achieve his dream, just protect him. And why that's so vivid to me, because he worked hard, he was disciplined. And he went through a lot of trials, university, so on and so forth. And when he got drafted in the first round, one of the top picks, man, I went insane. I gotta find that video. Like that was probably one of the most rewarding
Oh boy.
like yeah, I'll never forget. And he became a great human being.
Wow.
Clients love him. Everybody loves him. Just the epitome of hard work. He's an artist now, and just to watch his art in the Wayne Moore art, in the museum, like it's his art show. So
Wow.
had a career in football, playing pros, then after that, going after his passion and just being a part of this young man's life. Uh, and there's a lot of different stories like that, but for
Right.
him, yeah, that's probably the most yeah, that had a lot of
That,
effect on me.
yeah, see, those are the type of stories, man, that I mean, you can't dream of something. Well, only dreams are made of those
Yeah,
type of situations and stories that you build through your life. But
Mhm.
yeah, and I know you've touched so many athletes because I'll tell you a quick story. Um, when we started this partnership, had the opportunity to speak with Jeremy, and Jeremy's an awesome gentleman,
Yeah.
awesome guy, and we've had a couple conversations, and lo and behold, after our I think it was the second conversation we had. I wake up every morning, man, and I put my TV on ESPN and I get to talk sports all day. I'm over here living the life, man. But I get my TV on ESPN and who do I see? And I've seen them time and time again and time again. I've seen him over the years as well. But now he's an analyst on ESPN, old PK. So PK Subban out of the blue, I did not know there was a relation at all. Out of the blue on ESPN, starts talking about you. And I'm like, God doesn't make any mistakes. I'm a believer, and he doesn't make any mistakes. I'm like, I just got through talking, and then now I'm on ESPN. I said, this is crazy, man. But the old saying, God works in mysterious ways, it is so true in everybody's lives. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, the second conversation I had with Jeremy, I'm watching a show that I always watch, and all of a sudden I hear your name on. That's what I told Jeremy. I said, I got to get him on the show, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a hardworking cat too, man. PK. So I trained him since he was 16 years old, and it's just been a pleasure. His journey, talk about dedication, commitment. Man, he didn't take a vacation until he got a $72 million contract, man.
Wow.
Think about that. The sacrifice all summers in the like this what he would get these sponsor deals and all this Nike blah blah blah. He would clear his schedule. You're talking about commitment. Clear his schedule. Nothing gets in the way of training.
Wow.
So those are the things. Everything has to be scheduled around training. And that's how with my system I would, how can I make this most effective? Get the bang on it because you're working with these pro athletes. They need to do these, golf this and, show up for this and signing this. All that gets pulled away from
Mhm.
all that stuff gets, pulls you away from the work you have to do. And that's how I came up with my system of training and to get the most bang for your buck. But you have to show up for those days or it doesn't work. You know what I
Right.
mean? And he did not play with that, and
Wow.
I commend him for that. His discipline was and his work ethic is I don't think people understand how disciplined and hardworking and competitive he is. And
Mm.
Denzel's the one that broke his chin-up record. PK had a chin-up record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the gym. So PK, he did a chin up of was it 360 pounds? So he's 220, right? And the extra weight was strapped to him. Denzel beat him by five pounds. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So if you don't know Denzel, he's kind of went viral for his catches. They call him like
Yeah.
I said, that old 50 Cent. He's a young buck. So I sent him that 50 Cent tune. I don't know if you remember it back in the day, How to Rob.
Oh,
So I sent him that. He
that's a,
went crazy. He's like, How to Rob. 'Cause he
that's
just
a
robbing
good one.
everybody. But
Oh man, yeah, that's a good one. That was on point, right?
yeah, he loved that How to Rob.
I know he
So
got a kick out of that one.
oh, he went crazy. Yeah. He probably plays that going out, man. He loves that. Yeah, he loves that.
Oh my goodness, man. So look, so every show I give three actionable tips that our listeners can take with them when it comes to recruiting. But I want to flip the script today. I want you to give our listeners, whether that's athletes or parents of athletes, three actionable tips that they can use, three tips that they can use in, preparing their body and mind to be the best that they possibly can be.
Um, You hear me talk about discipline. Um, I think that is the most important thing that you have to um, impart on your child, is that they have to learn to do the things that they don't want to do,
Mm,
but they have to do it. And you have to build that. If you build that work ethic and you build that discipline, they will take it into whatever they're passionate about. That's just my formula. And that's what I do
mhm.
with my young ones. Um, that's why my daughter, was Commonwealth Commonwealth record holder, um, got robbed for the Tokyo Olympics, but that's another story, right?
Oh,
Number one
man.
in Canada, strongest athlete, and anyway, there some point system and COVID, but it's all goes down to discipline, 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 discipline. And you have to take steps to discipline. And number one, start small. And then number two, increase that discipline.
Mm.
Number three, get them to track that discipline. So
Ah.
those are the steps I take. So I get him in the habit of doing something frequently every day. Then it may not start off every day, it may start 2, 3 times a day, whatever that is. So I'll just give you an example. My kids, I have a 10-year-old, I have a 12-year-old, boy and girl. They have to work out every day before they go to school. But they started off at 2, 3 times a week.
Mm.
Now they train every day, 7 days a week. And then after that, they start tracking what they're doing, like
Ah.
writing down their exercise, writing down the weights, writing down how much weight they lifted, because they look at, oh, I lifted 300 pounds today. You're writing on the reps, the sets. That's a simple method because I'm in my strength coach world, right? Because data is very important. But what happens is they get attached to that growth, like,
Ah.
I'm getting stronger. Oh, and they can see direct. My daughter loves dance, my son loves basketball, and they can start seeing the connections, right? So I kind of, it's hard at the beginning, and then hopefully I'm trying to find a way for them to connect it, to have fun with it, to see the value of it. And whatever they want to do in life, okay, they have learned to go through the pain, get up early in the morning, train, go to school. So it just goes back to discipline. And whatever it is, if you're an artist, if you're, you're a mathematician, discipline.
I love it. I love it. Discipline is big in all aspects of just life. Oh gosh, I mean, whether you're an athlete, a business owner, or working for someone. So I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, look, we're gonna wrap things up, man. I mean, closing thoughts here is you heard it from the master himself. In strength is it, and it's more than just muscle. It's discipline. There's a ton of other things that go into becoming that complete athlete. Some people think it's speed and strength. It's so much more than that.
So
It's a
much more.
mindset. It's a belief,
Yeah.
right? And here at Pro 7 Sports, that's what we're all about is trying to figure out different ways to give our athletes what they need to achieve success, not only a scholarship offer. We're good at one thing and one thing only, and that is helping kids get offers. But what we're trying to incorporate, and number one is through this partnership with you guys at LPS, is to bring on board people who do one thing and do one thing well that we don't do, right? That can benefit, that can help our athletes. And I'm excited about this partnership. I'm excited about where it can go from here. Just excited about our athletes having an opportunity to rub shoulders with you guys and be able to uplift them on that athletic side of things and mindset side of things as well. So I want to end it by saying, for all my listeners, parents of athletes and athletes, get on the College Prospect Report. Get on the report so we can get you evaluated for scholarship opportunities. And we can get you connected with Clance and his team at LPS for athletic success as well. So, Clance, I want to say thank you to you. I appreciate you taking this time to sit down with me and chat a little bit. This has been uplifting for me. I love talking about kids and what they can do if they just set their minds to it. And having a part of that success is always a big plus. So thank you. Thank you so much. And
Ple-
thank you guys for what you guys are doing there.
Pleasure speaking to you as well, man. I like to double down on that note. I always say, "Jack of all trades, master of none," man. So we love, we
Oh,
love,
that's my dad saying.
yeah. Right. So once you said, you know what you're good at, you know what and you focus on that and you try to build a team around you, we know we're with the right people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I look forward to what's next for us and what's down the road for us. But you guys keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great things over there. And can't wait to speak to you guys again moving forward with this partnership.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Take care. Have a
Take
good
care.
one.
You too, buddy.
All right.